What if I told you that for more than 99% of human history, humans never farmed, never built cities, and never wrote a single word? That for most of our existence, life revolved entirely around survival, creativity, and connection in a world without modern conveniences? When we say cavemen, images of grunting, club-wielding, fur-clad brutes often come to mind. But what if that image is completely wrong? What if these so-called cavemen were some of the most adaptable, intelligent, and innovative humans who ever lived? Imagine waking up not to an alarm, but to the first rays of sunlight spilling into a limestone cave. The fire from last night still smolders, offering warmth and light. Around you, your small band stirs, family, friends, companions, each person engaged in tasks critical to survival. Some check the horizon for prey, others gather kindling for the fire that must never die. This was the Paleolithic era, spanning roughly 2.6 million to 12,000 years ago. Nearly the entire story of humankind unfolds here, long before farming, writing, or cities. Our ancestors were hunter-gatherers, shaping their environment with fire, stone, wood, and ingenuity. And their days weren't just about survival, they were about planning, problem-solving, creating, and connecting. So let's step back in time. Let's walk with them through the sunlit valleys, the shadowy forests, and the flickering glow of hearth fires. Let's ask the question, what did cavemen actually do all day? The day begins with light, not clocks. Imagine stepping out of your shelter as dawn spreads across the land. The chill in the air is sharp, and the fire embers from last night's hearth are carefully fanned back to life. Fire was life itself, warmth, protection, and the means to cook the day's first meal. Morning in the Paleolithic was about essentials. Water had to be collected from nearby streams or springs, carried in containers made from animal bladders, woven fibers, or later pottery. The band would assess their immediate needs. Are food stores running low? Are tools sharp and ready? Are there signs of game nearby? Survival required both immediate action and planning for the days ahead. Tasks were divided, but not rigidly. Adult males often hunted larger prey, while women gathered plants, nuts, berries, and smaller animals. Yet roles were flexible. Archaeological evidence shows women sometimes hunted, and men sometimes gathered. Each member of the group contributed to a delicate balance between risk and reliability. Hunting was dangerous, and success wasn't guaranteed, but even the simple act of gathering food demanded intelligence. Paleolithic humans memorized seasonal patterns of plants and animals, ensuring a steady supply of nutrition. Some groups, like those living near coasts or rivers, fished with hooks and nets made from bone or fibers. Others followed the migratory paths of large game, sharpening spears and preparing traps along the way. Mornings also included tool maintenance. Stone tools dulled quickly with use, and replacing or sharpening them could take hours of careful work. Complex tools like bone harpoons or finely crafted wooden spears required skill and precision. Each tool represented generations of accumulated knowledge, a blend of creativity and practicality. By midday, the band had secured some food, repaired their tools, and tended to essential tasks. But the day was just beginning. The rhythms of sunlight and shadow dictated movement, activity, and rest. Life in the Paleolithic was a constant dance with nature, a careful choreography of survival, skill, and awareness. Hunting and gathering weren't just tasks, they were a way of life, a rhythm that dictated every choice, every movement. Imagine stalking through a forest, spear in hand, eyes sharp for any sign of prey. Early humans started as opportunistic scavengers, but over hundreds of thousands of years, they became expert hunters.
If you enjoyed this journey into the world of our ancestors, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more stories from the past.
By 400,000 years ago, humans were crafting sophisticated wooden spears, perfectly balanced for throwing. Later innovations, like spear throwers, and eventually bows and arrows, expanded their reach and power. But hunting large game was risky, and failure was always possible. That's why gathering plants was equally crucial, reliable, diverse, and nutritious. Tubers, berries, nuts, seeds, leafy greens, and even medicinal plants filled the diet. Knowledge of where and when to find these foods was essential, passed down through generations. Cooking, too, transformed daily life. Controlling fire to cook food dates back at least 400,000 years, maybe longer. Fire made food easier to digest, unlocked calories, and neutralized toxins. It also provided warmth and protection, serving as a gathering point for the community. Tool making and food processing were inseparable. Stone tools sliced meat, crushed seeds, and shaped hides. Bone, antler, and ivory became tools for fishing, sewing, and decoration. Even the simplest implements required foresight, practice, and precision, a daily exercise in problem-solving and creativity. Seasons shaped survival. Spring brought fresh greens and eggs. Summer offered berries and hunting opportunities. Autumn demanded the collection of nuts and preparation for winter. Cold seasons relied heavily on stored foods, dried meat, frozen or buried provisions, or underground pits, though storage methods were rudimentary. Every meal told a story of observation, experimentation, and adaptation. Paleolithic humans were not passive in the face of nature. They were active participants, managing landscapes, predicting patterns, and shaping their environment to ensure survival. Food was more than sustenance. It was knowledge, culture, and collaboration. Sharing a successful hunt or abundant harvest strengthened bonds and reinforced social cohesion. Each day's survival relied on both skill and trust, a delicate balance between humans and their world. Contrary to popular imagination, caves weren't the only homes for Paleolithic humans. They were just one option among many. When natural shelters weren't available, people constructed temporary or semi-permanent huts using wood, animal hides, and bones. Some were small oval structures supported by wooden posts. Others were monumental arrangements, like mammoth bone circles in Ukraine, likely covered with hides to protect against harsh winters. Inside, space was carefully organized. Hearths formed the heart of daily life, a source of warmth, cooking, and social gathering. Surrounding them were areas for sleeping, tool-making, and food processing. Maintenance was constant. Fires needed tending, shelters required repair, and living spaces demanded cleanliness. Archaeologists even find evidence of distinct waste zones, separating living areas from trash and refuse. Child rearing was integrated into daily routines. Paleolithic children learned by observation and participation, not separation into classrooms or playpens. From an early age, they absorbed skills like tool making, hunting strategies, plant identification, and social norms. Care for the sick or injured was another crucial aspect of community life. Skeletons show healed serious injuries and long-term disabilities, suggesting that even those unable to contribute fully to subsistence were supported. Compassion, cooperation, and communal responsibility were not modern inventions. They were essential to survival. Even personal hygiene had its place. Ethnographic studies of hunter-gatherers show practices like dental cleaning with fibrous plants and bathing in accessible water sources. Life in the Paleolithic required constant attention to both survival and well-being. Shelters and domestic life reflected a balance between mobility and stability. While some groups moved seasonally to follow resources, others established longer-term camps. Regardless of location, maintaining a home demanded knowledge, coordination, and foresight. Paleolithic humans weren't just surviving, they were creating spaces for life, learning, and social connection. Their lives were a complex balance of immediate survival and long-term planning, of logic and creativity, of individuality and community. And here's the revelation. The Paleolithic lifestyle shows us that human potential has always been rooted in adaptability, curiosity, and cooperation. Today, as we face environmental challenges, social pressures, and technological change, we can look back and draw inspiration from their ingenuity. Next time you picture a caveman, don't think of a brute with a club. Think of a skilled technologist, a knowledgeable botanist, a creative artist, and a cooperative community member, all rolled into one. Imagine how your life might change if you embraced even a fraction of their resourcefulness, awareness, and connection to the world. The story of our ancestors is not just history, it's a mirror. It shows what humans are capable of when we live attentively, adaptively, and collaboratively. Join us in rediscovering that legacy and consider how it can guide the way we live today.
If you enjoyed this journey into the world of our ancestors, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more stories from the past.